What's going on, Apes the Ape Army? My name is Tyler and welcome back to the channel for possibly the most important AMC update video that you guys have ever seen here on YouTube. So we're going to be going over three very important things in this video. We're going to be going over, is it even possible to have over 7 billion synthetic shares trading with AMC? We're also going to go over exactly what a synthetic share is and how it is created and how it's used by really big investors to get an edge over the retail investors. We are also going to talk about why AMC stock fell so hard today and the shorting activity that is going on with the stock. So we're going to keep it nice, short, sweet, and simple so you guys get all the information you guys need without wasting any time. So with that being said, if you like this video, you want to see AMC stock go straight to the moon, make sure to hit that like button for me, as well as comment down below how many shares of AMC do you currently own, and do you think earnings will be good next Monday? Do you think we'll have a drop in the stock? Do you think we'll have a big pop like I do? And let me know all the information in the comment section, as well as consider subscribing to the channel for more videos like this. So first things first, let's go over the quickest thing first and then get to the meat and bones of this video, and let's talk about why AMC stock fell so hard today. And it really comes down to a couple different factors. We're actually seeing less FUD being spread by news outlets, but we're also seeing a lot more shorting that is going on with the stock, probably a lot of naked shorting, as well as a lot of synthetic short positions, as well as legal short positions. We are seeing that reflected today a lot. We have really been flirting with this $40 resistance level. We've been trying to break this. We will get over it slightly, about 50 cents, and then we'll come rocketing down a couple dollars. Now we currently sit at $35.34. But ultimately, what is going on here is you are seeing an all-out short attack, like I said, with synthetic short positions, naked short positions, as well as legal short positions, as we have went over on this channel before. But you guys have seen this everywhere. We had about 5 million shares that were available to borrow just yesterday, and throughout the day today, we seen 250,000. This was 4 hours ago, roughly 4 hours ago, and then you are seeing now 150,000. So you effectively seen about 4.8 million shares that were actually shorted for today, or borrowed for today. Nevertheless, it looks like they were shorted for the day, as we do see with the price action. But relative to what I always talk about, the volume that we do see on any given day, to have about 5 million shares that were shorted, that was about 10% of the total volume for the day going in as just sells, let alone other people that are selling the stock, or just the synthetic or naked shorts that are shorting the stock. So you see a lot of downward pressure. You're seeing an all-out shorting attack, but I wouldn't get discouraged because of this, just because the simple fact we have went over a couple times on this channel now in many different videos is that we have earnings coming on Monday. This is expected to be a great thing if the company and aroun do say some bombshell information. Like, I do think there is a decent chance they will do that, as we have went over in other videos. I don't want to get into speculation too much in this video, but if you guys seen those videos, you already know what I'm about to say. But nevertheless, if he just can provide good guidance and say the company is on track and will be profitable in so many months or so many years sooner than analysts actually expect, you're going to see a huge pop in the stock. Like we talked about in those other previous videos as well, is you usually see a earnings run up into earnings and then you will sell off, or you do see a slight downtrend into earnings and then you will see a massive pop. And relative to the short interest that we are seeing, keep in mind this Ortex data, take this with a grain of salt. We are being reflected that we are at about 14.23% short interest percentage of free float. We are seeing return shares at about 6 million for the day. Guys, keep in mind, this is return shares, not covered shares. They are not covering, but Ortex has indicated that a lot of these shares were actually shares that were covered, and that is simply not the case, guys. Ortex is severely wrong here. There's no way you've seen about 6 million shares that were covered today and we went down 5%. So that is simply not the case. You're seeing an all-out shorting effect, and essentially that is good for the overall short squeeze. The more shorting you will see, the bigger the ultimate mother of all short squeezes will be. So that is the simple fact what is going on here. I wouldn't get too discouraged. I wouldn't even think twice about this. If you are in this for the short squeeze, then you are in this for the short squeeze. And keep in mind, don't listen to anything that is said in any video on YouTube in general or any post anywhere. Always come to your own conclusions, do your own research. Odds are we're not financial advisors, not financial planners, or your dad. At least I know I'm not. So don't listen to anything that is said in any of these videos. Now let's talk about this whole situation continuation of this Reddit article that I know you guys have seen in other YouTube videos, maybe circulating around Twitter. You guys have definitely seen this. If you have not already, let's bring this to your attention. So they're doing some rough math here based off of what aroun had tweeted yesterday, saying that basically they were accepting retail questions for the actual earnings call and the webinar, and that is the case, and they are essentially taking the sample size of how many people voted by how many shares each of those voters had, and then just multiplying it by how many retail traders there are. So let's just read this. Right now, the sample size is about 1,000 apes, which is okay. 1,000 apes surveyed to be holding a total of 1.7 million AMC shares. This yields an existing share count of 7.2 billion AMC shares. Here's the crazy part. I ran the numbers with an initial sample size of 444 and got 4.8 billion AMC shares existing. I thought it would decrease as the sample size got larger, but it didn't. It is now up to 1.7 million with a 1,000 sample size, 7.2 billion total existing AMC shares. This is insane. So something else he said that is very interesting when you continue down this Reddit post, he says, now some of you may say that the sample size is small. However, I disagree. Statisticians and pollsters at Pew Research Center conduct surveys using a sample size of 1,000 to represent the US hundreds of millions of Americans, which is true. But when you're trying to figure something out that will range in such a wide variety, some people might own 1 share or 10 shares. Somebody else might own millions of shares or hundreds of thousands of shares or whatever, 10,000 shares. You guys understand what is going on here. So you can't really just trust this math right here. But I do think it shows you there is some level of synthetic shares that are circulating with AMC stock. And if we do take this back to how much volume we were seeing on a consistent basis, guys, this is a daily chart. We were seeing, 300 million for volume. That is roughly a little bit less than 10% of the overall float. But when you come over here to the volume of 757 million for volume, that is well over 100% of the legal outstanding shares. Why are so many shares being traded back and forth when most people, the majority of apes, just held onto their positions the whole entire time? I think there has to be some level of synthetic shares that are circulating out in the marketplace. I don't know if it's 7.2 billion existing synthetic shares, whatever the case is. I think the number is probably a little bit smaller than that, but I would not rule this out at this point, because if you know how synthetic shares are created, and we're going to go over this right now, it is statistically possible to create such a large amount of synthetic shares. So a synthetic position can be created by buying or selling the underlying financial instruments and or derivatives. When the underlying asset is a stock, a synthetic underlying position is sometimes called a synthetic stock. The synthetic long stock is an option strategy used to simulate the payoff of a long stock position. It is entered by buying at-the-money calls and selling an equal number of at-the-money puts of the same underlying stock and expiration date. Synthetic positions allow traders to take a position without laying out the capital to actually buy or sell the asset. Synthetic products are custom-designed investments that are typically created for large investors. So you hear this right here. If there's a lot of synthetic shares out on the marketplace, what this is doing, guys, is basically flooding the market with all of this supply. So it doesn't matter if we continuously buy the dip all over 4 million of us apes, it's not really doing anything when the overall outstanding share count is so high. It's not really doing anything, guys. So that is basically what is going on here. In theory, there is really no limit to how many synthetic shares could be circulating out there. I wouldn't just agree with this right off the bat. I would definitely try to come to your own conclusions. Maybe take their statistical math, whatever they did, their sample size, maybe cut it in half, see what you come out with, wait until more people do vote to actually have questions heard at the webinar, and then take that sample size once it becomes an even larger sample size. I think that's a more accurate way to do this, just because it's a lot different when you're measuring 1,000 Americans, how many animals they have, right? They're gonna have either 0 or up to hopefully no more than 10, whereas the case with shares, you could have 1 or you could have a million or a couple million shares. So I will say this again, just to be very clear, this is improbable, but definitely not impossible. Like I said, I'll say this part again too. Comparing 1,000 Americans to something like dogs or kids or cars is a lot different than comparing 1,000 apes to how many shares that they own. Once the data pool becomes bigger, I will be doing my own calculations. I don't know if it'll be 7 billion shares. That's a astronomically high amount anyways, but like I said, it is possible. Statistically, it is possible. So I would not take this off your radar, but I would definitely not just ultimately believe this because somebody did some crazy calculation, right? But that is pretty much all for this video. I'm not denying this. I'm not proving this to be true. Just giving you guys the factual data and my personal opinions. These are my opinions. Don't get mad at my opinions. Come to your own opinions and own conclusions. But with that being said, make sure to drop that like on the video, as well as consider subscribing to the channel and turning on the notification bell to be notified every time a video is posted. Also, if you guys want to join a exclusive community for the buy and sell alerts with stock, options, and crypto, you'll be notified in real time every time something is bought or sold. Like I said, in real time, you can't go wrong by doing that. We have been killing it over there, guys, and it literally pays for itself. Also, if you guys want to join a broker that does not use payment for order flow whatsoever, you get up to $70 in your choice free stock, and it only takes about 3 minutes time with no deposit necessary, no need to link a bank account. It is literally by definition free money. Check out the link down below for public, and all of those links will be linked in the description. So with that being said, you guys enjoy the rest of your night, and I will see you in the next video.